All right, Thursday evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of ELF Live. I am your co-host, Nick Alfieri, aka Alf, here with my co-host, Silas Nasita, fresh off a cruise. Welcome back to Society, Silas. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, and as you can see, I'm wearing my no bull hat. So
Yeah.
today I'm not gonna hold back anything.
Well, that's
Nobody
good.
nobody is safe.
Good.
Nobody's safe.
Hey, watch out, teams such as Prague Lions and Hamburg Sea Devils. He's wearing his no bull hat, which means he can be coming for some necks.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
We got
guys, we've
we got
actually got
a special one
a
today.
very special show. Yeah, we've got two special guests later in the show, and we're going to be doing a lot of fun stuff with them. You guys might recognize them if you know anything about European football, follow Euroball at all. But Silas, in the meantime, it's just you and me. Let's jump into some of our categories here, starting off with our news around the ELF. By the way, chat, what's up, guys? We see you there. Thanks for joining us. Now, here is the first big news. The Tyreek Hill football and speed camps throughout Europe. I'm going to be doing 3 locations: Madrid, Paris, and Frankfurt. This is a pretty big thing. I guess Tyreek Hill is really interested in expanding his international brands. Pretty smart thing. It's going to be great for players in Europe. Silas, what are your thoughts on this?
I would love to just follow around Tyreek, have him get on the train system, see if he can figure out how to use trains, see if he can figure out how to pay for public restrooms. That's what I'm really interested in, man.
Now, how funny would that be? That he could make some good content out here, being just a lot of culture shock from Tyreek Hill. Did you ever see those videos of who was it? Marshawn Lynch coming to Germany. Did you ever see those going around Germany? Those were pretty fun.
Yeah. I think, you're right. I mean, Tyreek is pretty big on YouTube too. So I think if he made some videos in Germany, that would be a hit. But that's a big time win for football in Europe with Tyreek coming over. He's one of the bigger names in the NFL, and so having him come through should attract a lot of people in the sport.
Yeah, and it's cool that he's doing it in 3 different countries: Madrid, Spain, obviously, then Paris, France, and then Frankfurt, Germany, working with ELF teams in coordination with these ELF teams, with the Bravos, with the Musketeers, and with the Frankfurt Galaxy. So it's going to be a great thing for the ELF, bringing a lot of eyeballs, and he'll, of course, bring a lot of attention. And it'll be awesome for the youth that get to attend those. Like, imagine some, like, who's one of the super legit soccer players? I obviously don't know, but imagine if they went to the States and put on a soccer camp for those young soccer players in America. It's like the same thing.
Yeah. I think it'd be great. Here's yet another example of Madrid being big brother in Spain. They show up and they get the camp from Tyreek Hill. Barcelona doesn't, but it makes sense. It makes sense. Little brother, we don't care about you anymore. Barcelona's just gonna have to prove themselves. They're gonna have to prove themselves this year. Otherwise, everyone's just gonna count you out. So for those who are still left, I don't even know who's still left there. This is a fire. This is supposed to be a fire right here. I'm lighting a fire under your butt that it's time to prove Big Brother wrong.
There we go. Silas said it. He really is wearing the no bull hat today. But it is true, man. I mean, Madrid's coming in hot with everybody, with all their signings. Took a lot of players from Barcelona, and now getting this Tyreek Hill speed camp here. I mean, their coach has NFL connections. So good on Madrid for getting that. So that's big. That is our first news. And then moving on, the ELF has announced the kickoff times for the 2024 season. You can see online on the website where all of the kickoff times are listed. We're going to just look at a couple special ones right now. Week 1, the first Sunday game of the season. Panthers are going to host their Eastern Conference rival, the Berlin Thunder, at, let's see if I can pronounce this, Tarczynski Arena. That was pretty good, wasn't it?
That was pretty good.
That's not bad.
That's how I would have said it.
Yeah. Thanks, bro. Yeah, pretty good. Tarczynski Arena holds 45,000 people. This will be the first time that the Panthers are playing at a big stadium. It'll really set the tone for the league for the season. It's going to be a 1:00 Sunday afternoon game. to kind of kick off the season there. And then, of course, we've got the rematch from the big game last season, Volksparkstadion. It's going to be week 8, July 14th. It's going to be a 4:25 p.m. kickoff. Rhein Fire versus the Hamburg Sea Devils.
Yeah.
I mean, Silas, which direction is this game going to go? What's your prediction?
I mean, I didn't even. Are the Hamburg Sea Devils still even a team? I can't remember. Are they even playing this year? Didn't everybody leave the Sea Devils? No.
Shots.
Bro, honestly, now that I'm in America, I'm just gonna make enemies with everybody, and it's like, what are you gonna do? Like, charge me an extra $1 for a bathroom? Like, I don't. No, this is gonna be an exciting game, man. I'm pumped for this because, I think that's a great idea. Even though I'm trashing the Hamburg Sea Devils, they do a great job for the league because they bring in so many people. Which now that I'm retired, I'm more invested in the growth of the game even than I am in specific teams. So I love seeing these two teams together. It's going to be a big game. Maybe we might even see Nick and Silas on the field for that game. If we show up and say we're going to be there in the game, we might actually break that record of 32,000.
32,502. We're going to be the next two.
You can invite all your German friends that just love you because you make your German comparison videos.
Content. I love the way that you can kind of just flow in from just like ripping on people in teams and then just buckle up, just buttoned up, very professional analysis, and then back to it. You've got a beautiful skill set there, Silas.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Hey, it's a nice flow.
You don't create a really successful YouTube channel and then bomb it without any sort of skills.
Without having the flow of the ups and downs.
You're actually describing my YouTube career.
There we go. Hey, we're right here. It's coming right on back up. So that's what we got on the kickoff times. You guys can check on the website to see the time.
That's going to be a fun one. I think we should be there. Another announcement is we got some exciting news. If you want to join the ELF and work for the league, we got some jobs available. Mediocre job host has been host for an ELF show has already been taken by my friend Nick.
Those are taken. So
it's already been taken, but we do have different types of jobs that you can, I think. Do we have any graphics of that? I think we got obviously media is always something that is available. Different types of photography, videography, always welcome there to get your name out there and to also help boost the league.
Yeah, exactly. And actually there's we'll see here a couple of the jobs that are available on there. And then you can go on the website or click the link in the chat right now. If you're interested in any of these, get a chance to make some sick hype videos, work close with the league and kind of help shape the voice of the European League of Football, this awesome league that is early on. We're kind of still in the infancy. So if you got any interest in that, check it out with that link and come work at the ELF. Like Silas said, the job of mediocre and low-level talented host is taken at this time. Also, we've got, one of the jobs is a producer for this show. So you can work closely with me and Silas. And,
is that true?
Yeah.
Hold on. But we are going to vet that person though, for sure.
Oh, big time. Oh yeah, we're going to be doing the interviews. Me and Silas are going to be doing the interviews. What do you bring to the table? So you guys are interested in that, have these skill sets, want to work with the league. Honestly, it is very, very cool opportunities here. And the league actually pays pretty well. So
honestly, that will be fun. That's the one job. Y'all should apply for that. If you really want to become a producer and work with me and Nick.
It's going to be a headache for you. Ask our current producer, Max.
I mean, but that would be fun. That'd be kind of cool to see somebody that actually we get to work together that comes out of this specific show right now. But anyway, those are the jobs. Let's move on to the signing center, Nick.
All right. Here we go.
Let's start with our biggest one.
Yep.
My boy Sandro Plotzgoomer signing with the Frankfurt Galaxy. We just talked to him last week. What do you think about that signing?
I had heard rumblings about that for a while. Do you remember when we were interviewing him and I said that to him? I said, I'm here in Frankfurt. I think he'd be a good fit for Frankfurt. And he kind of really just brushed it off. I think it's a great signing. I think two things. Good on Frankfurt. They're really going all in and not a great look for Tirol, in my opinion. I mean, I know that people are basically saying, oh, he was moving to Frankfurt for his job, and he just so happens to be playing for the Galaxy because he's living there. I don't really buy that. I think that this was a coordinated, planned move here, and so I think great for Frankfurt. Big splashy signing, especially. I mean, taking a guy away. He's played for the Raiders for like 15 years, I think. So that's pretty big.
Even though he kind of looks like he's only like 17. So he started at 2 years old. My boy Sandro, bro, he's going to be that guy that is like 65 years old but still looks like he's 40.
That's what people want, man. He's got the youth, the fountain of youth.
He does. He really does. I think it's an interesting signing. It's going to depend on his health. You know, I mean, once you have one torn ACL, he tore his ACL. That's right.
Yeah, he tore his ACL. He really blew.
Once you have one torn ACL, it's really hard to come back from that. And so
I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at the ACL serious talk. That's serious. You're right. I'm laughing at the chat. Jamal, Athletes Forum, just said Benjamin Button Platzkummer, which is honestly, it's a compliment.
Yeah, it is. But all people are going to remember is they're just going to cut the clip of me saying he tore his ACL and you laughing, and then you're canceled. So
it's going to be tough for me.
Yeah, I think health is the most important thing, but I think that's a huge signing for Frankfurt because now they have an American quarterback. Well, at this point, Italian with Luke, but a veteran quarterback, and they can get did they already sign their receiver?
Malchow Castle.
Oh, yeah. I already knew that. That's huge. That's a huge signing. So having that skill level of running back, it's like you basically have an American running back and the best receiver in the league from last year. So that's a huge signing for Frankfurt. It also, I kind of feel like it fits. I feel like Sandro could actually really fit in Frankfurt, which is weird because he's only ever been in, like you said, with the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, you've been in that culture. You know that organization. I mean,
yeah, I do.
Frankfurt is, and rightfully so, they are trying to build to finally beat the Rhine Fire. They're clearly sick of getting bested by them every single game, every single time, and they're really going all in here to try and build a roster that can compete and defeat the Rhine Fire this year. So we'll see if it happens.
And I'll let you get this one because I'm not even going to attempt to say.
No. I was going to say, why don't you do this? Why don't you do this one? I was going to lob this one up to you.
All right.
Tell us, what do we got?
All right. So, speaking of Frankfurt's building up an offense and a team to beat Rhine Fire, they signed big O lineman Demetrius Gakundudis.
Nice.
Gakundudis, bro. Might be the coolest name that I've said so far. But played 2 years at Clearwater Academy in Florida. Played with the Rhode Island Rams and Western Illinois University. And now he's back in Germany, and he's going to play in Europe for the first time since 2016. So he started playing at 13. This is a homegrown that played in America, which is again huge. And he's O-line. That is even bigger. Having an American O-liner, well, I should say a homegrown O-liner that played in America is a cheat code.
Exactly. Because obviously no team ever spends an import spot at O-line, but when you have a homegrown guy, and again, he was born in the Munich area, when you have a guy that has this experience in the States and played college football and essentially has an American level skill set or close to it, and you can bolster your O-line with that, just like you said, that's a cheat code. You're damn near getting an import level talent at O-line. So that is huge for the Frankfurt.
Absolutely. And anytime you see an O-line who's wearing knee braces, you're like, oh, he's legit.
He's the real deal.
If he's not wearing knee braces, then he's not legit.
Exactly.
Or he's not big enough. It's like you got to have the proper size. You got to have knee braces.
Precisely, and that's that type of analysis is why you're the host of the show. So that's what we do.
Thank you. That's why I'm low level here.
There we go. Moving on to the next one. Paris Musketeers have re-signed linebacker Dawson Dales. Dawson is one of only 3 American linebackers to be signed in the ELF. So we got him. We got Zach Blair with the Milano Seamen. And then, of course, we've got AJ Wentland with the Panthers out in Poland. So pretty rare for teams to spend an A spot at linebacker, but I really like this signing. He played in Parma with the Parma Panthers with Coach Mattioli a couple of years ago, came with Mattioli for the first season of the Musketeers, and now he's bringing him back again. So obviously he's sticking with him 3 years in a row. Great player, and obviously they've got a great relationship there. So I'm a big fan of this signing. I think. Yeah. Go ahead.
I think this is the right move from Coach Mattioli because Paris was so much in a building phase that it would just be very counterproductive to sign somebody else. Even if they could get a really good linebacker, I think it's more beneficial to have consistency and to continue to build a team around certain players than it is to get a linebacker who maybe is a little bit bigger, maybe a little bit faster, whatever. But he had a good enough year. Great. I think he had a stellar year enough to prove that, okay, it's better to go with this guy. So potentially.
Yeah, exactly. And like, he is a little bit undersized. I'm a big fan of undersized linebackers, as I once was one myself. And back in my day when I played a little ball myself, but yeah, he's a little bit undersized, but he's like a high motor sideline to sideline athlete. And he was an ELF All-Star last year. I mean, that says it for you. So big signing back for the Paris Musketeers, Dawson Dale.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Silas, what we got next?
Let's move on over to the East, back to the Eastern Conference with the Enthroners. They have a DB. I'm not going to Rodion. Is it Rodion Henrique?
Rodion Henrique, I would say.
Rodion Henrique. This is the first American that I really struggled to pronounce his name.
Well, he's actually, believe it or not, he's from the Netherlands. He's Dutch nationality.
Wait. I thought he played in the U.S.
Rodion? I don't know if he played in the U.S. No, he was with the Leipzig Kings, and he was a D1 athlete. You're right, but he's got a Dutch nationality. He's Dutch.
I'm confused by
Maxie,
this.
hold on, wait, Maxie, type us that again. Give us that again.
Can we get some chat help here?
You guys see, he's Dutch. Okay, you guys see, we need a producer. We're looking for a producer. He's Dutch, but he played in the U.S. He's an import. These are the facts. Okay, there you go. There we go. Rodion. So he's got.
Dutch guy played at New Mexico State. Okay, so thank you, Alex. I mean, we should bring Alex on the show. Maybe he could.
That's a good idea. I wonder if we could ever get Alex on the show.
Oh, well, maybe we can reach out to him. These are the guys who actually know what they're talking about, not just guys who roast each other for a living.
Yeah. So that's big. You got Rody and Roby. He's going to be playing in the East with Nathaniel Robitaille. This is another good signing for the Enthroners. They're like working to be taken pretty seriously.
Yeah, they are really competing for that 15th spot with the guards and the Lions. They really want that spot. Those Enthroners, bro. They're like, dude, that 15 and 14, like they just have it on the board. It's just like there's a big number 14. It's like that every day they like walk out for practice and hit the 14. It's like, yeah, that's where we want to be. We're 14th.
Hey, you said it. They're working for improvement. That's all I'll say. Good signings. He was an ELF All-Star in 2021. And so the Enthroners, just like you said, they're trying to move up from 16 to 14. Moving on. Silas, moving on to our final signing of the week. We've got finally the end piece in the ELF quarterback mystery. D'Angelo Fulford for the T-Roll Raiders. Finally, they signed him. He played at the University of Mount Union at Division III, and then he had experience with the BC Lions in the CFL, the Vegas Vipers in the XFL, and now to T-Roll. He's going to be playing under Coach Jim Herman, who has a bunch of American experience, a lot of NFL experience, actually. So high-level coach to be coaching him there. Silas, what do you think of this signing that T-Roll has gone with?
I mean, we've talked about this 100 times, so it's just I'm beating a dead horse here, but we'll just see how he adapts. He's never played overseas. We'll see how he adapts. With the loss of Sandro, he's gonna maybe that's what they were hoping for, is having a dual threat quarterback who can kind of replace that running back that they're losing. I wasn't impressed with the Raiders offense at all last year. At all. Like
I think that they weren't impressed with their offense themselves. That's why they ditched their quarterback midseason.
Well, sorry. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I thought they were better with Christian and Jarvis. I thought that was a bad. This is ancient history at this point, but
True.
I don't know. I think the Raiders are kind of on the decline right now.
Yeah, man. I think obviously they were one of the premier organizations for a long time. Last year was not up to their standard, what they've done in the past. Obviously, let go of their coaching staff, brought in Jim Herman, and now they're trying to rebuild here and see what they can do. I do think like their expectations in T-Roll are to be a playoff and championship level team. I don't see them even with this guy. I think he's a talented quarterback. I don't see them making the playoffs out of the Central Conference when you got the Surge and the Ravens in there.
And the guards in there, like just no way, dude. No way, man. My guards are coming in hot this year, bro. Hot.
Exactly.
Roger Federer is going to sponsor the team. It's going to be huge. Like all 75 of the Swiss citizens are going to come out for the games.
Exactly. There we go.
This guy,
hey,
let me say one more thing. Just one more thing.
Yeah.
This guy looks really athletic, and I like athletic quarterbacks in the European League of Football. I like dual threat quarterbacks. I think he could. I mean, based off just how he looks nice.
There we go. Hey, leaving it on a positive note. So we're happy that T-Roll has now got their quarterback. And now that brings us to the point where we've got all of the quarterbacks settled for the 2024 season. Look at this beautiful scrapbook type graphic of the QB class of 2024 for the European League of Football. And we got a couple fun facts for you guys about the quarterback situation, the quarterback carousel this year. Only 4 teams in the league kept their quarterback from last year. Munich kept Chad Jeffries. Paris kept Zach Edwards. Stuttgart Surge kept, of course, Riley Hennessy. And the champion, Rhein Fire, they kept Jadrian Dart Clark. And then 4 quarterbacks moved from one ELF team to another. Luke Zaraka went from the Milano Seaman to the Frankfurt Galaxy, like we talked about. Chris Helbig from Vienna to Madrid, who's making a lot of noise. Jacob Sullivan from Frankfurt up north to Berlin. And then Aiken Jr. from Barcelona to Silas, the Guards. So, and then we've got 9 new quarterbacks in the league this year. Chat, if you, we're going to talk about this in a second. Let us know which quarterback moves you like. If in the chat there, let us know. Chad Jeffries, of course, says the Ravens person. So, Silas, speaking of quarterbacks, we have a special couple of guests to talk quarterback with us, actually. Can we get those lower thirds back up?
Wait, hold on. I had more than 0 TDs.
Get those lower thirds. Can we get those back?
Yeah, bring them back. I mean, I think Nick's it's inaccurate, bro.
0 TDs.
0 TDs for Nick is accurate. I think I had like 2.
Yeah, you know what? Mine are accurate. I didn't have a great year last year, honestly. Not my best performance. Looking to really step it up this year with a couple improvements in the stats. Silas, those are nice stats though for you. Look at that.
Hey, you want to know a fun fact? You want to know the ultimate like drop off? I think I had more touchdowns in 2 games when I just randomly showed up to Austria than I did in a whole season in the ELF.
Hey, that's a different world.
Wait a second. I think I might have had more touchdowns in one game, in my championship game, than I did in the whole season.
You know what that does? That just shows the elite level and competitive nature of the European League of Football, which, hey.
Or it just shows that I got old and washed up.
I don't know, man. I think when you come out for one game this year, you're still going to have
That's true. I'm going to prove to the world that I could score a touchdown with the Enthroners. That would really prove it.
There we go. All right. So we have got a special quarterback discussion. Chat, we see you guys. We're gonna talk about those in a second. We got 2 special guests. Jamal Clay and Alex Malchow are on the show. ELF Live. Welcome to the show, fellas.
Welcome.
For having us. What's going on? What's going on?
There we go. So if anybody knows or follows European football, social media stuff, you might know these guys producing great content, having great takes about European football. And today, all four of us are going to give you guys our takes, our ideas, some better than others, about who the top 3 quarterbacks in the league are for 2024. Chat, feel free to participate with us. And we are going to now rank our quarterbacks top 3. So,
Nick,
Mac,
hold on one
go
second.
ahead. Go ahead.
I just got to say one thing for those who don't know Jamal and Alex. If you are really looking to learn about like really detailed, accurate facts about European football, these are your guys. All right. The guys that you're used to watching, we're not the guys. All right.
You're not that guy, pal.
Jamal with Athletes Forum, if you want to check that out, you can check out Alex on Twitter as well. And Alex, where's your main platform, Alex?
Yeah, I do a lot of work for AFI, American Football International, as well.
These two guys right here, I just want to shout them out. They have done such a great job of keeping up with the scenes. They do a really good job of reaching out, finding other people to interview and really boost the league. Not a lot of people know how much they do, but guys, we just want to say we appreciate you coming on because you guys have done so much. And I'm really looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say because I really don't care that much what Nick has to say.
Appreciate that.
There we go, guys. Fantastic. Yeah. And that's the reason that you guys are on the show with us today, because of all the great work that you do and all the contributions. So without further ado, Maxie, I think, can we pull up this nice graphic screen that you got put together? Okay, so what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to go one by one, and we're each going to reveal our 3rd best quarterback in the ELF for 2024. And then we'll move on to 2nd and then 1st, and we're going to have a little bit of discussion anyway. So, Maxie, if you would like to reveal my 3rd place quarterback for 2024. I went with a little bit of a wild card unknown here, guys. So Silas, you and I talk all the time about how we love, you want a guy that's been in Europe before, who knows European culture and the way that football is in Europe. I threw all that out the window for this take right here. Levi Lewis, I've heard nothing but phenomenal things. Connor Miller was just here yesterday, and we did a podcast, and obviously he played for the Dragons last year, and he said that Levi Lewis is probably going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the ELF. He's extremely talented coming out of Baton Rouge, and it's a little bit of a wild card pick, but that's my pick for 3rd place.
All right, well, let's move on to number 3. Real quick, I have a question for you, Nick.
Sure.
Are we kind of ranking this based on their individual ability or like how well they'll do all together with their team?
Oh, individual ability, because Barcelona's still not going to be good. I think he is going to have a great season, and he's going to get plucked up the following year by a better ELF team. That's my prediction.
Wow, that's
good clarification.
That's a pretty good prediction.
Good clarification, Silas. Thank you. So,
all right. So then at number 3, I'm going to go with Riley Hennessy. I think that he's just a sure guy. Like I think his receivers we're talking about. They really really trust him. I don't see Riley as a super flashy guy, but I see him as a really reliable quarterback that is going to get the job done. Reliable Hennessy for number 3.
I like that. What do you guys think, Jamal, Alex? What do you guys think?
I think me and Hennessy go back to the college days, so to say. We shared a lot of great nights. So shout out to Riley for carrying the last name very well. But
hey, Jamal, you played in college with Riley?
No.
His namesake, his family brand.
Okay, all right. I was gonna say, there's no way y'all are the same age.
No. He played on the opposite side of the country. I played up in the Northeast, but
okay.
Levi was interesting though. I was thinking about Levi too, but similar to what you said, I got to see who's going to be throwing the ball to. But Alex, what do you think about the top?
Yeah, I'm really excited to see Riley again. Obviously, the Surge are one of the favorite teams to win it this next season. But yeah, I'm with Nick. I almost put Levi in my list. I think he's going to run around and make some viral plays for the Dragons, even if it's just by himself. So I'm excited to watch him play.
There we go. It might be by himself, but I'm with you. Hey, Alex, actually, sorry, we're getting breaking news from our director that the stream cannot hear you. So we'll have Jamal go first until they figure out that technical. We can hear you, Alex, but the stream can't. So we got to just pivot a little bit. So Jamal, if you'd be so kind to give us your third quarterback right now, while they also fix that.
Most definitely. I went kind of a different approach because I kind of feel like if you were ranking top 3, we all would have similar kind of guys, in the mix, depending on the order is debatable. But I kind of wanted to focus on the newcomers coming into the league. So coming in at number 3 for me, I threw Ben Holmes in there. I think he's a little bit of a different quarterback than what they had, obviously, from Jackson Ehrman and Chris Helbig their first 2 years in the league. But guy's got a good arm, strong runner, which is an element that the other two haven't really brought to the table. But still could beat you with his arm. So I like Ben Holmes. I like that he's about business. I had an opportunity to talk with him and kind of his focus, and I think he's going to fit right in, not even to just like the city and the team, but to that culture and the brotherhood that they got over there as they stress. So I got Ben Holmes coming in at number 3.
True. Oh, sorry, we're getting some message from our producer. Okay, send him back in, Maxie. I like that. I like that a lot, Jamal. I mean, I think like Vienna, they pick good imports. I think they do a lot of good due diligence in their imports, and I'm sure that if Vienna and Coach Kalaikai went with Ben Holmes at the quarterback position, that he's probably got it mentally as well as physically to be able to lead that team because their expectations are championships there in Vienna.
A little bit of an older guy too, so it'll be interesting to see how he transitions. But family man, I think his family's coming with him to Vienna. I think he's about business and the conversation that I had with him, off camera. I kind of like what he's made of. So I think as for newcomers, I got Ben Holmes coming in at 3.
Oh, I like that, Jamal. So do you know like how old is he? Is he a father? Like he's married with children?
Married, has a child coming.
He actually went to BYU in college.
He is.
That's a joke. He was married he was 28, married and had kids in college. He went to BYU.
Here we go. Shout out to our Mormon homies.
Interesting background too.
Yeah.
One of 2 Tarleton State quarterbacks in the ELF this year. So I'm excited to see how he fits in.
Who else?
Oh, you're gonna have to wait till the list comes out, man.
Oh, okay,
Wow.
Jamal. All right, I like that. There we go. Alex is back in now, chat and stream. Hopefully you guys can hear him. Alex, can you?
Did you guys hear me?
We hear you. All right,
so.
give us your 3
All right.
quarterbacks.
All right, I'm on the same page as Jamal. I have Ben Holmes as my quarterback. To me, he's the most exciting new quarterback to Europe of this class. I mean, the guy was in the CFL all last year. He had interest from USFL, XFL teams. If there wasn't that UFL merger, I bet he would be playing, in pro spring league in the States. He's mobile. He's accurate. To me, he's kind of like the Caleb Williams of the ELF. A lot of hype around a rookie. We'll see if he paints his nails purple.
Whoa!
Wow. Golly, man.
Silas, these guys are so much better than us.
I know. Look at this. And we got the people in the chat, Marcus Kent saying, can we mute Silas next? Dude, I'm going to be gone.
I hope they could hear that.
I'm not even going to be on this show anymore. They're going to bring Alex back, get rid of Silas.
Oh, chat can. Oh, I'm just seeing the chat now. Okay. There we go. So those are all of our 3. That's interesting. A little bit of collusion with Jamal and Alex on the Ben Holmes. We'll let it slide. Now we're moving on to our second place quarterbacks. I'm going with the one and only. Put it up there, Maxie. Riley Hennessy. I think, Silas, you said a little bit about him here. This is not a crazy pick at all, but, we can argue who's 1, 2, and 3. I just think that Riley has really proven himself. He's a championship level quarterback coming back from the injury last year and still competing at a high level and helping lead the Surge to the championship game. He played well in that game too. And so had the privilege of playing with him as well and seeing him off the field and how he leads the team and just the leadership qualities that he has. And I think that he is one of the top level quarterbacks in the ELF. And that's why I got Riley Hennessy at number 2.
Yeah, I think Jamal kind of touched on this, that if we went one specific direction, we probably would all have a similar list.
Right.
I kind of wish that we would have ranked the top new quarterbacks, because the quarterbacks on my list, I think everyone will probably just be like, yeah, well, that also makes sense. But they've also played and they have the record. So number 2, I got my boy Jadrian Dart Clark on there, and kind of the same thing. I mean, like, you can't really not put him on the top 3 list. It's like impossible. Like, how could you not, if he's MVP of the league? I mean, crazy stats. I can understand the sentiment. You know, he's playing on easily the best team, by far the best O-line. Any quarterback you put back there is going to be able to throw the ball. I could potentially throw the ball back there if I got that much time. That type of sentiment. I understand that. Now, obviously, Nick couldn't do it, but that's a different story. But, I mean, it's hard not to put him on the list. He's a great quarterback. There's nothing you could really say wrong with Adrian. Number 2.
I don't think exactly. I don't think anyone could argue it against that. Alex, what do we got for you?
My number 2 quarterback is another new guy to the ELF, Stephen Duncan for Wroclaw Panthers. I was thinking, should I put Clark? Should I put Hennessy? But I wanted to go a little bit different direction and highlight somebody that is going to create a lot of buzz for the Panthers this season. 6'6", 250 pounds. Guy dominated the German Football League last year. There's going to be defensive ends bouncing off him as he throws touchdowns. I'm really excited to watch him work in a really talented Wroclaw offense.
Man, I like that pick a lot, Alex. He played. I watched the semifinal game here in Schwäbisch Hall, Dresden versus Schwäbisch Hall, and he was very impressive in person. Just obviously huge body, but like just really leading that team and an absolute athlete. He's going to be Cam Newton out there in Poland.
They're loaded offensively too. Panthers is definitely a team to keep the eye on. They got a brutal schedule, but they're loaded offensively.
They really are. What you got, Jamal?
Coming in at number 2, this guy I'm excited to watch. Coming from Silas's favorite team, Javarian Smith from the Hamburg Sea Devils.
Whoa!
I think his skill set's interesting in the offense that they're building around him. Obviously, in the GFL, the numbers are documented in terms of what he was able to put up, like 44 touchdowns and 3,400 plus passing yards alone, 9 on the ground additionally. So you pair that with, Jarvis McClam, you pair that with Theo Lindstrom. It just signed Noah Bamba. You still got Simon Hamandi at running back. There's a lot of weapons, but there's also a lot of speed on that team too. So even though there's this sentiment that, Hamburg's got to take a step back, and yeah, they lost a lot of guys, that offense has potential to probably be one of the more exciting offenses in the league. It just depends on, obviously, they're playing in the West, so that's going to be brutal alone. But it's going to be interesting to see his impact in Hamburg with that skill set around him.
I did like talking to Javarian a lot. I was impressed after our conversation. My question to you, Jamal, is what about the O-line? Do they have an O-line?
And that's a fair question. But when you get somebody that is mobile, it's not like he's going to be like someone that's going to be sitting back there in the pocket. Like, they can move him out on sprint outs or run zone reads or move the pocket a little bit for him. So he's not going to have to just be sitting back and try to tear up a defense, so to say. And he's athletic enough to overcompensate. O-line's definitely a question, obviously, but I think, he's going to provide another threat. Obviously, we saw what Jarvis did for the Raiders for half the season. Theo, when he's not the main target, what he can do. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see. If anything, I think Simon Hamani might benefit the most from having, those guys around him and Javarian in the backfield.
Yeah.
I like that pick. I like that pick, man. Those are good newcomers. I'm super curious to see how these guys end up in the ELF. This is Javarian's first time in Europe, correct?
Oh, he played at Alboy.
Oh, yeah, Algoy. Okay, good. I like that. All right. I like that. All right, moving on to our top quarterbacks. Mine's a little bit boring. I think you could guys guess it, but I could not do it. Jadrian Clark. I think the fact that he topped it off with the championship this year just solidifies him as the undisputed number one quarterback in Europe right now. Is he the technically most talented and gifted? I don't know, but to me, he's the Tom Brady slot, where he's the most successful and the most effective. And he really defeated kind of this aura about him where people said he couldn't win the championship game. And he did it this year and kind of solidified himself as a champion and the number one quarterback in Europe. So that's what I got. Dark Clark as number one.
Number one for me is my man, Chad Jeffries.
Chadwick.
Whoa.
Chad, I believe, he was playing on a much less talented team than Jadrian, but he still managed to lead that team to a win against the Surge, which was a big win. And they put up a good fight against the Fire as well.
They did, especially in the first half.
You're talking about a team that's brand new to the league. You're talking about a coach who's not the coach anymore for a reason. So, I'm not saying Shoop was a bad coach. I'm just saying that in Europe, he clearly wasn't the fit for that team. Versus Tomasula, who had been in Europe, understands it. Jadrian has so much more to work with talent-wise, much better offensive line. I had to go with Chad for number one because I think he had to. I think he has more almost of a dog in him because he didn't have as much as Jadrian. Now, the other thing about Chad is the last time I talked to Chad is still trying to play in the US. So he's training for this league like he's trying to make it to the XFL or these other leagues. And you know how it is. If you're trying to get back to the US, the way you train and you prepare is different than if you're just settling down in Europe. So Chad's my number one.
It's a great point. It's a different mentality when you're still trying to get back to the U.S. So I'd like that too. Alex, what do we got?
All right. They say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I'm going with Luke Zaratka.
Wow.
I think yeah, shocker. I know. Everybody, shout out to Luke. I think he's going to revamp his career in a new spot. This guy's a winner. He's going to have the most talented team around him, maybe in Europe. They signed Sandro. They signed Markel Castle. He's got some great O-linemen. You guys just mentioned Dimitri signed. So shout out to Luke. I think he's going to have a breakout season for the Galaxy.
I like that pick, Alec. Hey, are they going to be able to beat the Rhine Fire this year with this combo led by Luke?
I think they're kind of the best of the rest. I see the Surge and Fire and then the Galaxy. It's kind of how I'm seeing things now.
I like that pick a lot, man. What do you guys think of that pick?
I'm surprised, man. I am surprised. I just feel like Luke is a guy that has never really gotten a lot of attention as a top quarterback, even though he probably has always deserved it just because he has been one of the most consistent. But I feel like Jadrian gets all the attention. Riley got a lot of attention because of the Stuttgart's turnaround. Chad was playing in Austria, and Italian football it just wasn't as respected. And so I think with him moving to Germany, if he does ball out here, he's going to put himself in the race for just being one of the best quarterbacks in Europe. But you have to do it in a country like Germany to kind of prove that, because otherwise people don't really take you as seriously.
Good point. Yep. There we go.
How much you guys putting on the 2-leg parlay that the Frankfurt Galaxy and the Raiders of Tirol split with their rivals this year, who they haven't beat since joining the ELF?
Wow.
So you're saying that T-Roll will beat Vienna and that.
So I'm saying, yep, the Frankfurt Galaxy never beat the Rhine Fire. The Raiders never beat Vienna since the ELF started.
Right. You thinking that they'll split games this year and trade wins?
Yeah. What are the chances you think those teams at least split? Meaning that the Galaxy and the Raiders will both get their first win.
It's a better chance this year than it has been in the past. I mean, I feel like if Frankfurt's going to do it, this is the year. T-Roll, I'm not so sure. I don't feel as confident, but I feel like if Frankfurt has the chance to finally beat the Fire, it's with this setup. It's with Luke. It's with Sandro, and it's with Malchow Castle.
We'll find out week 2.
Yes, we will. Jamal, finish off your list. Finish us off with the quarterbacks. Who's your number 1?
Here we go, number 1. And again, for those that may be joining late, I focus more on the newcomers. Obviously, a lot of guys that are at the top for the other guys are probably the top dogs. We all understand that. Yeah. But for my number 1 newcomer quarterback, I went back to Tarleton State after talking to Ben Holmes. I went to go grab Stephen Duncan playing for the West. There we go. This guy, Alex already mentioned everything, but this guy is huge. Not only that, he had weapons last year with Dresden, Austin Mitchell, Tommy Wilson, both in the ELF. This guy, he's going to an offense where they've got one of the best tackles, bringing in Keanu Ebanks. They got a two-headed monster at running back with Janini Adams and David Brzozowski. You got Matt Cole, receiver, played for the Redskins, Commanders, wherever they are now. Along with some of the other talent, Andrea Bote-Moreo at tight end, Banan and Mazan both coming back. Like, literally, this offense is probably one of the most complete offenses in the league. Now, obviously, you guys can do your homework, go check their schedule. It's a gauntlet, but I think they're built to withstand it, so it'll be interesting to see. But the real question is this going to be the year, between the Panthers and Berlin, if they have enough to take out Vienna in the East? We'll see, but I like Stephen Duncan as one of my top newcomers in the league this year.
Love it, guys. There we have it. Our top 3 quarterback list. Chat. We couldn't see you for a little bit, chat, but now you're back and we see you. So let us know your thoughts on the quarterback list. I like him, man. I like you guys going with the Stephen Duncan. I think that he'll be pretty good.
Glenn says no. What are you saying no to, Glenn?
Glenn said no. The Galaxy will do well this season, to be real. Yeah, they absolutely will. So that's our quarterback discussion, guys. Now we're going to do the same thing with our homegrown Europeans, who we think are our top 3 homegrown Europeans going to be playing in the ELF in 2024. And
this one was way harder.
There's way more guys.
I'm probably gonna hear y'all's picks and be like, yeah, I probably should have put them on there too, because I mean, there's just so many half of them I don't know how to say their names anyway. So if I don't know how to pronounce your name, you're probably not on my top 3.
There you go. Hey, sorry. Before we jump into these homegrown, someone in the chat is asking thoughts on Carlton Aiken. Alex and Jamal, quickly, can you give us your thoughts? How's he going to do?
Well, I'll tell you how I feel about Carlton Aiken.
Okay.
Let's go, baby. Hey. Let's go, baby. Now I'm a fan. Even though he didn't get much time at Barcelona, I'm a fan and see what he does. Interested to see how Anthony Brown plays out. Silas has been there, so he knows more in depth in terms of the offense and if he'll be able to produce. But I like him. I'm a fan. I'm interested to see how he pans out. But if anybody follows me, I try to stay right down the middle as much as I can. But I played in Switzerland, so I got to root for the Guards.
There we go. I like it. Let's go Guards. All right.
Yeah.
Let's take it to the homegrowns. Our rankings, top 3. We're starting off. I know I get a lot of crap for having a lot of bias towards the Stuttgart Surge, and sure, it's true. I mean, I'm with them a lot in person, but my number 3 is gonna be Louis Geyer, the wide receiver, homegrown from Stuttgart, playing for his hometown. So this is pretty special for the organization. I just think that he's such a natural talent. Watching him run routes and catch the ball, it's so effortless to him. A lot of times we see receivers who are very talented, but you can tell they're straining. They're trying really hard. Geyer's just so smooth, so effortless. He makes plays where he doesn't even look like he's trying. It kind of reminds me of how like Tyler Rutenbeck back in the GFL days would do it. And so I got Lewis Geyer. I think he's gonna have another phenomenal year. He put up 1,000 yards, still having 2 other 1,000-yard receivers on the roster with him. Riley Hennessy, hopefully he'll be healthy all season. And I got Lewis Geyer at number 3.
I like that pick. Oh, wow. Somebody in the chat, if y'all just check out the chat, is a psychic because my number 3 is Harlan Kofi.
Whoa, Michael Klein, good call.
Why does it say Glenn Tunga? Who is that, bro?
We're having technical difficulty.
That's the wrong black dude with dreadlocks. Switch it.
This is going to be a scandal.
We got the German Glenn Tuga coming in at number 3, a.k.a. Harlan Kofi, bro.
But Silas, your pick is Harlan, right?
My pick is Harlan.
Okay, he just put up.
That is actually hilarious. Glenn is behind this. Glenn, are you behind this? He's hacking. I know Glenn is behind this.
Glenn cut his hair a little bit.
Yeah, my pick is Harlan Kofi. Why? This is a young guy he just signed a 3-year deal. There we go. 3-year deal with the Rhine Fire, which is like, I've never heard that before. That's like kind of crazy to me. But that says a lot about what the coaches think of him. I think he's a younger receiver who's just starting to get into his groove. I think we just saw the beginning of what he's capable of last year. Plus I like him. I met him at obviously the time we played him, and he came up to me after the game. We talked for a little bit. And so obviously I'm a little biased because he said that I kind of inspired him to get going more into football. And I love that, but I love his heart. I think he is going to have a breakout season this year. And Harlan Kofi, number 3 for me.
I like it. And we'll look at that. We got the graphic change too. There we go. Alex, who we got?
All right. We got a familiar name for number 3, Mr. Football Madrid, Alejandro Fernandez. The D end. He's coming back home. No place like home. He's leading the charge for the new era of Bravos football. He's going to be a leader on this defense. They're going to be looking for him to step up. And I think he's going to remind the ELF that he's one of the best Spanish talents and European homegrown talents in the league.
Alex, real quickly, do you think this was a hot take from a couple weeks back? Will the Madrid Bravos have a winning record? Go above 500 and maybe will they be 500 or above? Quick thoughts.
No, sorry. Can't do it.
Okay. Just checking.
I hope they're exciting to watch. That's what I'm hoping for.
There we go. That's good enough.
This is my hat. This is what I think about the Madrid Bravos this year.
Sponsored by No Bowl. Jamal, who you got for number 3?
Yeah, this one hurts a little bit, but I understand it. So I went with Maceo Beard to Paris. Yeah, I mean, I think Paris, what they did this offseason, in terms of bringing back a lot of those homegrown guys that they weren't able to get to year one, you could almost say they had one of the top off seasons in that aspect of it. So going and get the defensive player of the year, who happens to be a homegrown, who you still could go get E spots or A spots at the DB. I think that's a win for Paris, especially for position group where they had a lot of questions throughout the year. So shout out to Maceo in Paris, but I got him coming in at number 3.
Silas, quick question. You played with him. Is he A-level DB talent? Or is he just a really, really good E?
What do you mean by that?
Is he as good as a safety that you would get from the States?
Yes. I mean, he was the defensive player of the year, so yes, obviously.
There we go.
Is he as like fast and strong? No. But if you're talking about just overall player, like I'm choosing him over a faster, stronger guy.
There we go. And he doesn't take up an A spot. All right. Hey, we got Carlton Aiken in the chat. He said, did I miss anything exciting? You did, Carlton. We were just talking about you.
Yeah, go back.
Jamal has some nice things to say about you. And He's excited for you guys this season.
Hey,
My number
let's get
two.
it done, man. Let's stop playing with the Central. Let's get it done this year, man.
Come on, guards.
Hey,
You could probably beat
Carlton.
your role.
Carlton, I left us like a electric skateboard in the apartment if you want it.
There we go. All right.
Good answer.
Number twos, guys. I went out east, and I've got a guy that's actually headed to the States, Florian Bierbaumer. Look at that. The young Austrian tight end, receiver, whatever he is. Saw him play in person at the semifinal game last year, Surge versus the Vikings, and was wildly impressed with him. Another guy who kind of makes it look effortless. And I was talking to, like I said, with Connor Miller yesterday, who played with him in the Graz Giants. Connor said to me that Florian Bierbaumer was the best receiver, tight end, whatever you want to call it, that he has played with in Europe. That's including A's, including Americans. He couldn't stop raving about him. That's coming first person from a quarterback. I was wildly impressed with him. Obviously, he's going to the National Players Pathway program, so other people are impressed with him as well. Florian Bierbaumer.
So he might not even play this season. Is that what you're saying?
That is actually true. That's actually true. So my pick is a little bit 50-50. If he makes it in the IPP, then you're gonna have to strike my pick. But as of right now, he's not.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That. So we almost don't want him to be in the league because we want him to have that opportunity. Florian, if you're watching, I didn't put you on this list because I'm assuming that you're gonna get to have that opportunity. Nick doesn't believe in you, so that's why he has you on there. For my number two, I'm going with my boy Sandro Platzgumer. I think if he can stay healthy, he'll do what he's always done and just dominate. I think he really will, especially having Markel Castle as a receiver. Everybody's going to be keying off on the offensive best. Was he offensive player of the year?
Markel? Yeah, he was. He was offensive player of the year, yeah.
Yeah, so everyone's going to be keying off on offensive player of the year, and then Sandro is just going to – I think it's going to open up a lot of lanes for him. I think he's going to have a great year. I hope he does because I really want to see what he can really do. We didn't get to see that last year.
Yep.
So that's number two.
Like it. Alex, who we got?
All right, I'm going to keep the NFL IPP theme going. A guy you guys interviewed a few weeks ago, Chris Azalea from the Stuttgart Surge.
Hey.
This guy, I think he's going to have 3 or 4 big hits in the ELF this year that go viral, decleating type of hits, and he's going to bring kind of an intimidation factor to the Surge defense. He spent time in the NFL. He's a versatile player. If anyone knows how to use good athletes on defense, it's Newman and defense coordinator Brenner. So shout out Chris Azalea this year.
I love that pick. Love that pick.
That's a good pick, man. That's a good pick. This is what I'm talking about. I forgot about Chris.
Well, that's the good thing about this one. This category, there's so many options that we can pick. So it's great that we can kind of highlight a bunch of different guys. I love that pick too, Alex. And just like you said, those defensive coaches, Brenner, Pastorino, Newman, they're going to use him well and have a lot of success. Jamal, who's number 2 for you?
Yeah, I'm going to head over to AFI Review and borrow number 3, Alejandro Fernandez. I think the Bravos being able to get a guy of this caliber back home, a guy that's only been on successful teams, obviously, the Dragons and the Fire, a guy that's seen it and been around, people with great minds on how to approach the game, study game, play the game, and now he's being able to come back home and play for his city in the Madrid Bravos. I think he's gonna have a huge impact. They built a lot of guys on that defense in terms of signings. So I'm interested to see how he's gonna. I think he's still coming off a knee injury, so it may start off slow, but I think that was very impactful for Madrid to go get their guy and bring him back home.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah. Let me make a point here, Nick. For those watching as well who are not familiar, haven't played, one of the things that you won't ever think about in America, it's not a factor at all, is the power of playing in your home country where a lot of your players speak your home language, like your first language, that makes a huge difference. So you got to think, right? Alejandro is playing for the Ryan Fire last year. He's getting coached in English because obviously their head coach is speaking English, and maybe some assistants might be speaking German as their first language, but that's his second language, is my assumption, is English. And then his teammates are all speaking English because they're German. Most of the linebackers are German. So you put a guy who first language is Spanish, if he's on a team with 90% of his defense able to communicate in his native tongue, the amount of energy that is required to now communicate is a lot less. Now you're focused more on the game. That's a huge difference.
Absolutely. That's another great thing about coming back to your home country and playing, and just the mental aspect of it and the energy that it takes to have those translations and everything. So he's gonna be probably pretty special this year. Now, you guys, this sign here says homegrowns, but I did ask producer Maxie, what exactly do we mean by that? Is it any European player that we can put on this list? He said yes. So some people might have some gripes with what I pick here for number 1, but I was instructed that we were counting any European player. And so my number 1 non-American player in the ELF for 2024, Glenn Tunga, the man himself. This guy is exactly what European football needs to be. He is a star of the league. He is obviously super talented on the field, makes super flashy plays. We've seen his highlights. They go viral. He got the hair. I know he cut it. Maybe he cut it this year, but that was part of it. He's got the big personality, great off the field with interviews and everything. Didn't get to even play the whole season last year. If he plays the whole season this year, he's going to absolutely dominate. Absolute superstar and what European football is all about, in my opinion, Glenn Tunga.
Look, I love Glenn, and I think that's a great pick. I just wish you would have gave me a heads up so I could convince Glenn to get out of the chat, because I wouldn't. As soon as you started talking, I'm like, Glenn is over there in his room somewhere, just smiling, and I hate to just boost up my boy Glenn that much. I feel like we need to follow up with some sort of roast, like, chat. Can we somehow balance this out?
Who do you got? Are you going to elevate him as well, or are you not? Who you got for 3?
I mean, I think that's a great pick, man. That's a great pick. Glenn is a great guy.
Some will call him Harlan.
Yes. Some would call him Harlan. No, I would, especially the way Coach Tomasula talked about him, and whenever we had him and Tomasula on the show together, I gained a lot of respect for Glenn after that. And
100%.
I think that's a great pick. I'd like to mess with Glenn, but that's a great pick. For me, number 1 coming in the top is actually Jamal's number 3, Maceo Beard. I'm gonna go with Mace.
Oh, you're a former teammate.
Yeah. So I mean, you asked me. I mean, like I said, I think what makes Mace so special is that he's probably the smartest safety in the league. I think he understands the game really, really well for someone who grew up out here. The other thing about him is he just works really, really, really hard too. He was getting extra practice all the time. I mean, he was texting all the time. Hey, I'm going to be here on this off day to run routes. You want to show up? And of course I said, no, absolutely not. I'll be at the lake.
Like the good import life.
Look, I knew it was my retirement year. Once I said that I was by the lake, crystal clear water in Switzerland. No, Mace wasn't worried about all that. He was out there working. So he's number 1 in my home ground. He might be on the top of my overalls as well, and even with A's. So I have high respect for Mace. He's number 1 for me. What about you, Alex?
Yeah, I love your guys' picks, Glenn Tunga, Maceo Beard. But I wanted to sprinkle in somebody new to the mix here.
Sprinkle.
I'm going Aaron Doncourt from the Rhine Fire. This guy, you guys interviewed him, a few weeks ago.
Yep.
He's been putting in work in the dark, right, on the practice field for the NFL at IPP, in CFL in Canada, but he hasn't had a chance to show what he's got. Finally, this year, he'll get to be on a field in a game doing his thing. One thing I love about him is he's a freak athlete, former basketball player. He did his pro day a few years ago for NFL IPP. We just had the NFL Combine. He would have been just along them with the numbers. 39-inch vertical, 4.4 40. I mean, this guy has the potential to be sack leader for the Fire.
I like that. I like that pick, Alex.
That's another one I forgot.
Hey, there's a lot of good talent this year. A lot of European talent in the ELF. That's a great one. Jamal, who you got?
Here we go. Here to cap it off. And I'm glad no one dived into this guy, but the impact he's about to have in Paris is going to be ridiculous. But wide receiver Anthony Mahungu, seeing his impact that he had on Jacob Sullivan year one as the number one receiver, that was an E. Now he's a homegrown. He's about to have the same impact for Zach. Zach is known for taking a lot of sacks. So the fact that he has a true number one now, and then Austin Mitchell, if you haven't checked him out, played in Dresden last year, who's the A receiver. Yep. This guy is ridiculous.
He's good.
Now you have someone like Anthony who can command attention, so all the attention won't go to Austin. And then if you worry about those two guys, you still got Remy as a number 3 receiver. So Paris, in terms of what they've been doing, and again, I mentioned it earlier, they're bringing a lot of the homegrowns back. I think Anthony Mahungu is going to have a huge impact for Zach and that offense going into this year.
Man, this little category right here got me so excited for the season coming up. I mean, the fact that we have all these different players right here, such a pool of European talent to pick from, and just thinking about these teams that are getting pieced together. These are some of the best teams in Europe that we've had since European football has been around, and it's an exciting time for football in Europe. Yeah. So, Chet, that's what we got. Chet, let us know what your thoughts are on those categories there. We do have one final category that we're gonna talk about, which is the top fan bases. Okay, this is gonna be interesting. This is gonna be very, very interesting. What ELF teams have the best fan base? Now you gotta hear me out for my first one, okay? Because maybe this might raise some eyebrows with you guys. I traveled with the Stuttgart Surge to all of their away games this past year. Rode the bus. I was there on the sideline. Went to all the stadiums. Number 3 fan base for me is the Milano Seamen. Now hear me out. Obviously,
I get where you're going.
Have a lot of fans. Okay, it's a small pool of fans. But I was absolutely blown away by this small pool of fans in the Milano Seamen Stadium when the Surge came down there and obliterated them 77-20 or something. And those fans were so wild and so crazy the entire game and so loud. I mean, it was probably only 30 guys, but I just couldn't stop thinking and seeing what they were doing. And so that's why I've got the Milano Seamen, quality over quantity.
That's a valid point. I get what you're saying. I was there too. And that little squad, I think there was a guy who had a pasta bowl or a pot.
Yeah.
Like he was just banging this pot, and they were all game long.
Also have like the coolest opening with the Pirates of the Caribbean music coming in.
Yeah. That's a solid pick. My number 3, I got to give it to my former team, the Frankfurt Galaxy. I think the Frankfurt Galaxy they had such a strong fan base back in NFL Europe that just continued on when the Frankfurt Universe came back like 10 years ago or whatever it was. They were the best fans. In terms of just like buying into the team itself, like the brand of Frankfurt Galaxy, they were such a loud and proud organization or fan base. And their games were awesome, man. I mean, we played a few games there. You remember, and they were always like popping. I think Frankfurt once Frankfurt gets into like a bigger stadium too, I can't imagine how many more fans they'll get.
I like it. Those are Purple Hell. The Purple Hell. That's
Purple
what
Hell, dude. Yeah, that was
Purple
hype.
Hell. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like that one, Silas. Can't go wrong with that. Alex, who do you got?
Yeah, I love your guys' picks. I definitely have to check out the Pirates of the Caribbean entrance. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, you got to see that.
I'm going to take the Hamburg Sea Devils. They are on the road this year. They're playing in a few different stadiums. I'm using this as a challenge. You know, we've seen how big the big crowds in big stadiums have been electric for the league. Hamburg Sea Devils got to show out in the big stadiums this year and, you know, be the fan base that drives these moments.
I like that, Alex. Silas, are you cool with that? You going to let that slide?
Yeah, this week it's just the enthroners that I'm roasting. I'm not worried about.
Hey, every team gets a week. It's their off week for the Hamburg.
Week.
Jamal, who do we got?
Yeah, this fan base, from what I've seen, heard, and talked to a lot of people about, there is not a more fun fan base than the Barcelona Dragons. All 90 of them will come to the game, no matter what stadium they're playing in. They are always loud. They're cheering the whole game, win, lose, draw, in the rain against going into overtime against the Sea Devils. It doesn't matter. Those fans show out pregame, during game, postgame. It's always a party. So I got a lot of respect for that fan base. Again, small, but I'll take it. So I want to give a shout out to the Barcelona Dragon fan base. They're a fun team, fun fan base to keep an eye on.
That is a great one. Another quality over quantity one. And Jamal, I was there down in Barcelona at that game, and like they were fantastic group. Good for them.
Constantly beating the drum. It doesn't even matter.
Constantly, bro. Constantly.
Okay, so moving on to number 2, I actually cheated and I picked 2 teams, and that's because I think both these fan bases sort of feed off each other or will be starting to feed off each other in 2024. I've got the Munich Ravens and the Stuttgart Surge, 2 teams that are in southern Germany, both shaping it up to be top team in the Central Conference. Last year, they split games against each other, and the games, both of these games were absolutely packed out, super loud, both of the Surge Stadium and Ravens Stadium. Obviously, the Surge fans, you know, they're super excited. They were terrible previous years. Now they're really good. There was a whole group of these fans that went to every single game. The Ravens, Munich Ravens, Silas, you and I played football in Munich for years, never drew more than like 1,200 people. Munich Ravens were having like 5,000 people at their games. So these fans are really stepping up and showing out for the Ravens. And this is a big rivalry. There's a little bit of tension between these fan bases maybe. But this is my number 2, Ravens and Surge, Southern German teams.
Winner of week 1 gets the 2 spot for you.
There you go. There we go. It's up for grabs.
That's a good one. Number 2, it's a basic pick, but I'm going with the Rhine Fire. I mean, I feel like 90% of the chat is just a bunch of flame emojis every single week. It's like, think of something new to put. Like, we get it. Flame emoji, right? The biggest game I ever played in Europe was with the Rhine Fire. There was like 10,000 people there, and they weren't even playing a winning team. They were playing an 0-5 team. I just didn't even know that there was that many fans in that Dusseldorf Cologne area. Like, this was the first year I realized how big Dusseldorf, Greater Cologne, all that area is, because all the packed state, like Frankfurt always had the biggest crowd back in the day. Like Cologne, the Cologne Crocodiles, like whoever was there before, they weren't drawing any fans. And then out of nowhere, Rhine Fire shows up, and now they got 10,000 fans. I was confused. But when I went out and saw the after party and I talked to some people with fire all over their face, I was like, these people have been hiding under rocks for the last 10 years and then came out of nowhere when the Rhine Fire showed up. So I was really impressed by them, and I expect them to continue to grow.
Like it. Can't go wrong with the Fire. Alex, who we got?
All right. I'm going also with the Munich Ravens. I think Joe Thomas is going to be shaking hands and kissing babies, bringing people into the stadium. And we saw the success they had in year one. You know, teams like this, they only grow for year two. So I think the Ravens are in a perfect city for sports. They've got a great representation now from Joe Thomas. So I see them getting to the next level as far as a fan base.
Can't argue with that, man. I mean, they're really on a good trajectory. The Joe Thomas point is a great point. Out there kissing babies and shaking hands. That's going to be great for the franchise.
Yeah.
Sean Shelton really doing a good job piecing that thing together, doing what he does.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jamal, who we got?
Yeah, not a really popular number 2 here, but shout out to the Hopper House. Shout out to the Flock. They're coming in at number 2 for me. Seeing what they did just year one for a new team that had to be built from the ground up, and seeing the direction that they're going and the momentum that they're bringing into their second year at ELF, and it kind of seems like it's an organization that has their head on right.
Mm-hmm.
The fan base is only going to grow.
Yeah.
It's only going to grow, and you know the fans stuck with this team even when they were struggling midseason. Obviously, they get the big win over the Surge. But yeah, I'm excited to see what that first turnout looks like. Their first home game. But yeah, the flock is growing.
I can't wait for that Munich Surge game in the big Nuremberg Stadium. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
All right, my number one's boring, guys, but there's reason. I mean, you can't go against it. It is the truth. The Rhine Fire do have the best fan base, the largest fan base. And the reason that I put them here is because they are essentially the standard for what European football teams can achieve on the field and off the field. When you see everything surrounding that franchise off the field and the fandom, it's really like a part of that city. And it's just, you can't beat it right now. It's something that every team is striving for, to have a fan base of this size and of this craziness. Rhine Fire.
I do agree that they are the largest, but they're not the best. The Helvetic freaking guard fan base. Come on. Come on. That is the
there
best.
We go. Wild card pick.
So that's not that's the best thing. I mean, we had our fans stayed till the end of the game. It didn't matter if we were 0-5. They were there through the whole game, and they won us our first game. Like they were so loud. It was only, I think, 3,000 people in the stadium, but they filled it up, and they were so loud. It's the only fan base that stuck to the end, like all the way to the end. And man, I was so impressed by them. I was so appreciative of them, and so many of them were so excited to see football in Switzerland like that. And man, I love. Shout out to the Helvetic Guards fans out there. You made my experience so much better. The number one fan base in the league. Let's go.
Hot take. Hey, I like it, man. I like that take. I like it. Alex, who we got?
Yeah, I can't believe I didn't think of the Guards, but shout out to the Guards. I'm going to be predictable. I'm going to go Rhine Fire. I think I was shocked how popular they were in their first year and how they kept building on that. So sky's the limit for the Fire. You know, maybe we see them break another record this year. Fingers crossed.
There we go, Alex. Hey, good pick, man. Smart man. All right, Jamal, who we got for your final fan base?
Yeah, this was a hard decision because you don't want to go the normal route.
Yeah.
We went boring.
And then I want to give a shout out to my Guards, even though they're probably gonna hate me for this, but I did end up going the normal route. Listen, the Fire at number 1. They're gonna be the first team in ELF to probably average like 20,000 fans within like three seasons of this thing. I mean, outside of Barcelona, I don't know another fan base, or I haven't seen another fan base that tailgates harder, that does preseason or pregame parties harder outside the stadium. So shout out to the Fire, but it's not even a debate, to be honest. I love the Guards, but it's not even a debate. And Silas, you will be missed. I will be expecting my number 7 jersey to hang it up in my man cave.
Right.
And
there we go. Hey, those are cool. I like that we all had kind of different stuff and some different teams represented here. And I think that's pretty cool. These are cool little graphic images. We got to get these and put them on social media. Maxie, I'm sure. I'm sure you're doing it.
Shout out to Maxie, man.
Yeah,
Shout out to
big
Maxie.
Big
Did a great job
shout
today,
out
man.
to Maxie, our director producer, who does all the graphics and everything, keeps the show flow going. Way to go, Maxie. All right, guys. So those were the categories that we had: quarterbacks, homegrowns, and fan bases. Chat, you guys had some good stuff in there too. You agreed with some. You did not agree with others. Just before we let you guys go, Alex and Jamal, just kind of give us what are your final thoughts that you want to talk about for the coming ELF season? What are you most excited about for 2024? Be it a team, a player, or just the league in general. Jamal, go ahead and start for us.
Yeah, I mean, I think going back to our first topic, I'm excited to see how these new quarterbacks pan out. Obviously, there's 8 returning ELF quarterbacks and 9 rookies. I'm excited to see, how these new guys pan out. Some first timers joining the league. Obviously, it's the #1 league in Europe, so it's not like you're going from a different country to ELF. So we'll see. But I think as the league continues to grow, and we saw last year, there was a lot of parity in the middle. I think we're going to see a lot more parity as we itch towards the top of it.
Absolutely, yeah. What I'm excited to see is I'm going to shout out the Paris Musketeers. I think going into year 2, they're bringing a lot of talent back, the same coaches, same quarterback. So there's some continuity moving forward. Plus new athletes. It's kind of like how much better do you get from year 1 to year 2? What's the jump look like, even in a tough conference? So I'm really excited to see Paris make that jump maybe to a contender level.
Love it. I love it, guys. Hey, just want to say thanks so much for coming on the show with us tonight. It was really, really fun, and truly a big shout out to what you guys do in the media space for European football, ELF football. I know this whole thing is kind of in its infancy right now, and you were 2 of the guys that are doing a lot of media stuff and bringing attention to the league, and all this just helps everything grow. And it was so great to have you guys on the show with us tonight.
I appreciate the opportunity, man. It's been a lot of fun. Speaking of Alex, obviously we've done a couple of shows together. We didn't know what this thing was going to look like, pan out to be. We just knew it was new and wanted to see, and obviously the marketing drew us in. But yeah, it's been fun covering it. So we'll see what happens, man. It's a lot of storylines to keep an eye on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Thanks for having us. Anytime you need us, we'll be back on, I'm sure.
We'll definitely be bringing you back on. I just saw in the chat, they said coaches edition. We need to do a coaching ranking too. So there's more for us to do.
Yeah, that's great. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming on the show.
Later, guys. And then there were 2.
Nick, I don't know if we're going to have a job after this.
Oh, no, that was our last show. Those guys are replacing us for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, fun while it lasted, though, right?
It was fun.
It was fun.
It was fun.
But you got to admit, those guys are pretty sharp with ELF football. They know a lot of stuff. Pretty good.
Well, not just ELF football. They knew German football league stuff, like where these guys are coming from, where they play. But like that's some research and in-depth knowledge of the game.
No, they really do. They're the real deal, and I'm always impressed at the articles that Alex writes and his tweets and his walk and talks on Twitter. Big fan of that, and then of course all the shows that Jamal does with Athletes Forum. Yeah. And this is just the kind of stuff that just continues to build European football and the fan bases and stuff. So it's good stuff.
I'm really just trying to hang on to this whole like roasting teams joke, and if people get tired of it, I'm gone.
No, you got to keep doing it. Even if people get upset, you got to keep doing it. Stay strong.
Oh no!
Every week a different team.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pick a different team every week, and then as long as I make fun of everybody. If I make fun of everybody,
yes, equality in your roasting. Everyone gets roasted a week. I think that's actually a good idea. Silas roasts a team each week, and
who should it be next week? Probably the Surge.
Roast the Surge. I want to see what you come up with.
Yeah, dude.
Get ready. Do some info. Do some research to roast the Surge.
Oh, I got so much to work with on the Surge, bro.
Silas roasting the Surge. All right, man. Hey, I got to go eat dinner now because it's late here and I'm starving. Very, very hungry. Chat, you guys, thanks for hanging out with us and talking ELF football and listening to Jamal and Alex's smart takes and mine and Silas's stupid takes. We'll be back with more stupid takes again in the future, guys. Silas,
Yes, sir.
have a good one, brother.
Good to see you again, Nick.
All right, man. Later.
Later.